If your stomach feels mostly fine all day, then suddenly puffs up after dinner, you're not imagining it. Nighttime bloating is extremely common, and it usually has clear, explainable reasons. The key is that your body doesn't process food in a vacuum. It processes it on top of everything you ate, drank, and stressed about earlier. By evening, your gut is handling a bigger load, and your nervous system is often shifting into a slower gear. Add a larger meal, more salt, maybe a dessert, and less movement, and you have the perfect setup for pressure and swelling. Sometimes it's gas, sometimes it's fluid, sometimes it's constipation building through the day, and sometimes it's simply your abdominal wall relaxing when you finally sit down. In the next few minutes, you'll get a practical mental model for why bloating ramps up after dinner and what patterns to look for so you can respond more intelligently. Moving to slide 2. First, it helps to separate two things people call bloating. One is distension, where your belly actually measures bigger. The other is the sensation, tightness, fullness, pressure, or feeling inflated, even if size barely changes. After dinner, both can happen at once. Distension is often driven by gas, slowed transit, or water retention. The sensation can be amplified by gut sensitivity, which is common in IBS, and after periods of stress. This matters because the fix depends on the driver. If it's mostly gas, you look at fermentable carbs, swallowing air, and speed of eating. If it's mostly fluid, you look at salt, alcohol, and hormones. If it's constipation, you look at fiber type, hydration, and routine. When you know which bucket you're in, you stop guessing and start testing small changes. So as you listen, keep asking yourself, is this pressure, size, or both? Moving to slide 3. A big reason bloating peaks at night is simple accumulation. Your digestive tract is like a conveyor belt. Food from breakfast may still be moving through by late afternoon, and dinner arrives on top of it. If you snack often, sip sweet drinks, or chew gum, you keep adding material and air. By evening, there's more volume inside the system, even before gas enters the picture. And if you tend to eat your largest meal at dinner, the jump in stomach stretching can feel dramatic. Stretch receptors in the stomach send signals of fullness, and in sensitive guts, that can feel like bloating. Also, many people eat dinner faster than other meals because they're tired or busy. Faster eating means bigger bites, less chewing, and more swallowed air, which can increase belching and pressure. So one of the most boring explanations is often the most accurate. The gut is simply fuller at night. Moving to slide 4. Next is motility, how quickly your gut moves things along. After you eat, your body shifts blood flow toward digestion, and your nervous system coordinates muscle contractions that push food forward. But motility isn't constant all day. For many people, it's strongest earlier, especially after waking and after breakfast. In the evening, it can slow, particularly if you've been sitting a lot, you're dehydrated, or you're under stress. Slower motility means food and gas hang around longer, so you feel more pressure. It also means constipation can announce itself at night, even if you didn't notice it at noon. Another piece is the gastrocolic reflex, the urge to poop after meals. If you ignore that urge during the day because you're busy or away from home, stool can back up. Then dinner arrives, the reflex triggers again, and you feel bloated instead of relieved. Moving to slide 5. Let's talk about what's actually making the gas. Some gas is normal. Everyone produces it. The issue is when more of your carbs reach the large intestine undigested, where gut bacteria ferment them and release gas. Dinner is often the most fermentation-heavy meal. Think onions, garlic, beans, wheat, certain fruits, and sugar alcohols and no sugar-added treats. These are sometimes called FODMAPs, meaning they pull in water and ferment easily. You don't need to fear them, but you may notice patterns, especially at night. Also, fat slows stomach emptying. A high-fat dinner can keep food in the stomach longer, increasing fullness and reflex-like pressure. And carbonated drinks add gas directly. So if your bloating is worst after specific meals, the clue is often the combination. A large portion, high FODMAP ingredients, plus fat, plus bubbles. That's a lot for one evening. Moving to slide 6. Another overlooked driver is swallowed air, also called aerophagia. It sounds minor, but it adds up fast. You swallow more air when you eat quickly, talk while chewing, drink through a straw, chew gum, suck on hard candies, or smoke or vape. Even healthy habits can contribute, like chugging sparkling water at dinner. Stress can also change breathing patterns, leading to more air swallowing without you noticing. The result is upper belly pressure, frequent burping, and a distended feeling that ramps up soon after eating. This type of bloating often comes on quickly, within minutes to an hour, rather than several hours later. That timing is a useful clue. If your belly feels tight right after dinner, before food even reaches the colon, think stomach stretching and swallowed air. Slowing down, chewing more, and simplifying the way you drink can sometimes make a bigger difference than cutting entire food groups. Moving to slide 7. Now let's separate gas from fluid. Some bloating after dinner is actually water retention in the gut and tissues. Salt is a major factor. A salty dinner, restaurant food, sauces, deli meats, pizza, can make you hold on to water, and your abdomen may feel puffy and tight. Carbohydrates also store with water in the body, so a carb-heavy evening can increase that soft swelling feeling by bedtime. Alcohol can add to this by irritating the gut lining, changing motility, and disrupting sleep, which affects hormones that regulate fluid balance. For many people who menstruate, hormonal shifts also change fluid retention and gut sensitivity, and the timing can make nighttime symptoms feel dramatic. The takeaway is that not all bloating is fermentation. If you wake up less bloated the next morning, that often points to a fluid component. Gas can persist, but fluid shifts overnight are common. Moving to slide 8. Your posture and activity after dinner matter more than most people think. Walking helps stimulate gut motility and helps gas move through. But many evening routines are the opposite. You sit, you slump, you bend at the waist, or you lie on the couch. That can increase the sensation of pressure, especially if you're prone to reflux or upper abdominal fullness. Also, when you finally relax at night, your abdominal wall may stop holding in as much. During the day, you unconsciously brace your core when you're standing, moving, or around other people. At home, that tension drops, and your belly can appear more distended, even if nothing changed internally. This is one reason bloating can look worse in the mirror at night. It's not fake. It's mechanics. A short, easy walk after dinner and staying upright for a while can reduce that trapped, heavy feeling without needing extreme dietary rules. Moving to slide 9. Stress deserves its own slide because it changes digestion in multiple directions. When you're stressed, your body prioritizes threat response over smooth digestion. Some people get faster transit and urgency, others get slowed motility and constipation. Stress also increases visceral hypersensitivity, meaning normal amounts of gas or stretching feel more intense. Evening is when many people finally notice stress signals because the distractions stop. That can make bloating feel like it appears after dinner, even if the buildup started earlier. Sleep also plays a role. Poor sleep is associated with changes in appetite hormones, cravings for higher salt and higher sugar foods, and altered gut-brain signaling. So the pattern can become self-reinforcing. Stressful day, rushed dinner, more symptoms, worse sleep, then repeat. The goal isn't to eliminate stress. It's to reduce the digestive consequences. Slower eating, a calmer meal environment, and a consistent wind-down routine. Moving to slide 10. Let's get practical. The timing of your bloating is one of the best diagnostic tools you have. If bloating hits within 0 to 60 minutes after dinner, think stomach distension, swallowed air, carbonation, and high-fat slowing emptying. If it peaks 2 to 6 hours later, think fermentation in the colon, often related to specific carbs, large portions, or a sensitive gut. If it's worse late at night with a heavy, backed-up feeling, constipation and slow transit move higher on the list. And if it's accompanied by burning, regurgitation, or coughing when you lie down, reflux may be part of the picture. You don't need to self-diagnose a condition, but you can track patterns. Pick 1 week and note dinner time, what you ate, speed of eating, drinks, and when symptoms start. That simple log often reveals the real trigger faster than cutting random foods. Moving to slide 11. Now, a set of low-risk experiments that often help nighttime bloating. First, adjust the size and pace of dinner. A slightly smaller portion, eaten 10 minutes slower, can change the whole evening. Second, consider spacing. Finishing dinner a bit earlier gives your stomach time to empty before you lie down. Third, build a gentle movement habit, like a 10 to 15-minute easy walk. Fourth, look at your most common dinner ingredients. If onion, garlic, beans, large servings of wheat pasta, or sugar-free desserts are frequent, try reducing just one of those for a week and see what changes. Fifth, check your drinks. Swap sparkling beverages for still water for a few evenings. None of this requires perfection. You're trying to identify your highest leverage lever. Once you find it, you can keep variety in your diet while reducing the nightly discomfort. Moving to slide 12. Fiber is tricky because it can help or worsen bloating depending on type, dose, and timing. If you're constipated, gradually increasing soluble fiber, like oats, chia, psyllium, or kiwi, can support regularity, which often reduces nighttime distension over time. But a sudden jump in fiber, especially from large salads, bran cereals, or lots of raw vegetables at dinner, can increase gas in the short term. Also, some high-fiber foods are high FODMAP, which can ferment more. Hydration matters here too. Fiber without enough fluids can make stool harder to move, which can increase pressure by evening. So the strategy is gradual and consistent, not aggressive at dinner. If you suspect constipation, aim to distribute fiber earlier in the day and keep dinner fiber moderate. And if you're already eating plenty of fiber but still bloated, it may be more about sensitivity, specific carbs, or meal behaviors than fiber quantity. Moving to slide 13. Finally, let's cover when bloating deserves a closer look. Occasional evening bloating is common, but persistent, worsening, or painful bloating should be discussed with a clinician, especially if it comes with red flags. Those include unexplained weight loss, vomiting, blood in stool, black stools, fever, anemia, trouble swallowing, or symptoms that wake you from sleep. Also pay attention if your belly becomes suddenly and severely distended, or if constipation alternates with diarrhea in a new pattern. Conditions like IBS, lactose intolerance, celiac disease, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and pelvic floor dysfunction can all affect nighttime symptoms, and they're managed differently. The useful mindset is your symptoms are information. Use patterns, timing, triggers, and associated signs to guide a smarter conversation and smarter experiments. If you want more videos like this, subscribe. And comment with your pattern. Does your bloating start right after dinner or a few hours later? A or B? This information is not a substitute for medical advice.